dude?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
So what have we been up to this week, Andy?
We've come to Jesus. That's what we've been up to. I mean, it sucks, but it's true, dude. I mean, we had to find Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's a bit of a reckoning with your own perspective, I suppose.
A little bit. It's not like I'm like, oh, it's all true. It's all real. You know, it's more like, okay, maybe I wasn't as objective as, you know.
Sure.
I mean, maybe, okay. So here's what we were trying to do, right? We had this idea of let's just, and it is so arrogant now that I'm like,
it really kind of
now
is,
that I'm
right?
looking, now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm like, what arrogance, you know, what arrogance. We thought, why don't we just take a commander from the 20,
yeah, Commander 2018,
the 2018 set, and let's just make a 1-to-1. It's $40 if you bought it out of, like, we actually had it, like, we'll put it in, like, I don't know, a card engine, like Card Kingdom or something.
Sure.
And we have it like a checkout, and here it is. And it's functional, and it's better than what you could get if you went out and bought the product.
Right. Pretty quickly, the $40 thing became evident that, like, oh shit, I can't do that.
Right. And either we have expensive tastes, or it's just not possible. Right. Like, it's just not possible. So trying to stick our cock out, right, and be like, I mean, yeah, like, you know, couldn't do it.
Like, look,
I couldn't do it.
Well, so here's one of the barriers to me is that I suspect the list that we came up with, once the release is done, for a period of time, will be cheaper. Because some of the cards on these lists right now, like, that are unavailable, there's sort of that speculation that's going on around them a little bit,
stuff.
And so they're a little bit, I think their prices right now as they're listed are a little higher than they're going to be. There's some reprints that will bring some prices down a little bit. You know, like Soul Rings, they're like $3, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's stupid because you don't want to cut out a Soul Ring from your list because you're trying to save money, but it's $3, dude. So pretty quickly we learned that $40 is kind of pretty undoable.
It's ultra. Well, it's not
not undoable, but like,
right. It's not worth like, you're definitely getting $40 worth of cards if we tried to do this. So again, if you decided to make your own list and say, you know what, I'm not buying these pre-constructeds, I'm just going to get the commander, and then I'm going to order $40 worth of singles, the deck actually you're getting more from the precon.
Right.
Like, that's the truth.
That's a reality.
So we said in our review and our rant that we were unhappy about the values of the deck, right?
Sure.
And I think this put it into perspective trying this. So yes, they are worth less this year than they were from previous years. Like, that's just truth.
Yeah.
But it still ain't $40. And if you were really trying to go out and do it on your own, which honestly, I've never done that before. My habit with precons is, yeah, I'll buy them and we play them out of the box for out of the box night. Right.
Yeah. And then take the legends we're interested out of the boxes that we've bought and go off,
or
and
some of the unique cards that they're doing and build our decks with it.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't super whatever, but
yeah,
this time for me, like, I like still looking at the precon, there's not a lot of reason for me to buy it.
Sure.
For me, but I'm already well established with Commander, you know. I'm already established at a commander. Like, me making a Saheeli deck is not difficult to do. I already have a Duretti deck. We've done episodes about artifacts. Like, I have a lot of those pieces. Yeah. So we found Jesus. The message is that if you do not, if you do not have the cards, you really should just buy the precon, even still. Yeah. Regardless of what its value was compared to last year, the year before, like, you should just you should just get it. If you want to go out and buy them by themselves, it will be more. And anyone knows that. But even if you wanted to try to do a better deck list, I don't... You might as well just go buy that precon.
Yeah, so like, I mean, I did Aminatou, and we'll go over the 2 lists we put together this episode. But I did Aminatou, and I immediately put it in on Tapped Out, just the list as Wizards of the Coast has it, and it came up like around $75-80.
Capitalism,
right? Like it's already... It's almost worth, in singles, it's almost worth double its MSRP as a precon box, right? So it's just like, oh, yeah, it is valuable. And then, of course, you want to keep the valuable cards in there. Yeah. That come with it. And so
you need, even if you have no use for them in that deck, you still want them.
Yeah. Like, so there's, I don't know, it's a very interesting exercise to kind of realize, as you say, like, come unto Jesus, to realize that, yeah, these precons, I think contextually, a lot of people in the format are feeling gypped because they don't feel as good as they have been in the past. But there still remains the truth that there's more value in the box than you can buy as singletons. Just is.
And even if you try to do a budget alternative, I don't know. I really set out to do something that was more focused in the end. And I was like, but why bother? Just buy the precon. I kept running into that.
Right.
Like, why would I not just buy the precon and upgrade it, I guess? Yeah. You know, which is spending more money, but
it turns out being the same thing. Like, you could buy our lists, which are going to be, I think my list is around $75, or you could buy the precon for $40 and put $30 into upgrades. And
you'd actually get further probably doing that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. The outcome is you have more stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of an interesting exercise. Anyways, the decks that we have, what we've kind of done is we've taken a commander from our given deck and just focused it in a largely budget way. Like, we didn't add anything that's astronomical to these, but
I try to keep all my stuff around $2.
That was for the most part me as well. Like $2. I can't think of anything that I put.
I was trying to keep them around like the price of a sandwich. You know, like, how many sandwiches am I foregoing to get these upgrades?
A Sloppy Joe sandwich.
See, that's different. That's a $15 sandwich. That's a $15 sandwich, and it's worth every penny. So we're on Amina Tau. What did you do with it?
So should we do mine first?
Compare it to the precon. Like, what did the precon look like?
So here's the thing.
So now we're talking about value. Like,
we're not talking about value. Like, that's lesson learned about value
as a deck.
Here's a deck that kind of, here's what the precon does, and then I'll jump into kind of what I've done with it. So the precon, I think, something that happens that we've talked about this. A lot of people know and understand this. One of the things about these precon decks is that with the new commanders that are in them, I think they tried in some of these decks more to have them all on a related theme. Okay. The Enchants deck, for example, the 3 primary commanders in that, you could have them all be in the same deck and they would serve the same function. The Amina Tau deck, where you've got Amina Tau, who, you know, like if we're to review, is Esper, so white, blue, black. It's a planeswalker that can be your commander, has an up ability of draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your library, a down 1 ability of exile another target permanent you own, then return it to the battlefield under your control, and an ultimate of -6, choose left or right. Each player gains control of all non-land permanents other than Aminatou, the fate shifter, controlled by the next player in the chosen direction. And so there's Aminatou, there's Verena, who's kind of flexible, but on the surface more zombie focused. Yeah. Right. And then you've got Yennet that is very interested in top deck manipulation
and Easter eggs
and Easter eggs for sure. And then you have your
Ninja.
Yuriko. Yeah, Yuriko. I was like, what was the name of it? Yeah, Yuriko. So the ninja for the ninja deck. And so there's some relation across them. Like Aminatou and Yenna work pretty closely together, I think.
Okay.
Yuriko and Verena don't really need to be there. They kind of have their own thing. So I took Aminatou, and what I'm really interested in, I know that Wizards was kind of pushing this top deck manipulation thing, and that's what I think got everybody disappointed, because some of the stuff that you would want reprinted for doing that didn't show up in this deck list. But what I think I'm actually really interested in, I think a lot of other people are interested in, is we can do a blink/flicker deck with Aminatou, and this is kind of our first opportunity to put black to use in that kind of a context.
Okay.
And so that's what I've done. So I've stripped out all the ninja stuff that was in the precon list. I've stripped out most of the top deck manipulation, because I really don't think with Aminatou, her up one is actually all that valuable. Like, if we're being honest.
So it's more of like a the Teferi Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Temporal Arch, like you're looking just to,
I want to go down,
kind of use that ability.
Yeah, so that,
run out of,
yeah, like you mentioned, like the mono blue Teferi, it had that down ability where you could untap for permanence.
Yes.
Right. And so in this case with Aminatou, we're looking to focus on that down one ability, because there's some very specific language about this that's key. A lot of people in the community have already addressed this, but usually with a blink strategy, most of it's centered around creatures. Obviously with Brago,
that's true, huh?
You can do some other shenanigans and stuff like that. I hate using that word.
Did you just say shenanigans?
I said shenanigans. I'm sorry.
Damn.
It's one of those words that's lost meaning because it's used so much in our community, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Brago can do other permanents as well, but like Rune is creatures.
Yeah.
And a lot of the single instance ones are focused on creatures. So Aminatou has that where you can do permanents, so you can be a lot more broad with what you're using. And the other part is own, not control. So other people can have, so if they are control of permanence, and that's actually what they're kind of alluding to with her ultimate, is you shift your board state to somebody else,
but you can still
and then you
work on popping your stuff back.
You can use her ability to pop stuff back from whoever took your board state and pop it back to your control, because you own those permanents, right? I'm not really looking to use her ultimate. Maybe in exceptional circumstances it might be of interest, but I want to focus on...
I can see people forgetting it's there. After probably a couple sessions of just you blinking things.
Going up and down with the +1, -1.
Like maybe it wasn't happening. You were just like sifting through your deck and people kind of forgot, like, oh wait, the ultimate is I lose most. So they have a seriously developed board state.
And that's the thing, is it could be useful if you're sitting next to somebody that has a way developed board state and you're just like, well, I don't have too much going on. I guess I'll just fucking take that from you.
Sure. Yeah.
So it is juicy. It is something you could use. It's not something I'm planning for, but it's there. It's available. So I'm just going to go through a quick list of cards that I put into the deck list. So I guess to kind of structure this, we'll post our deck lists. The core of them is coming from the precon list.
Yep, we're advocating the precon list.
Yeah, so the core of it's coming from the precon list. Like I said, I stripped out some of the things from the list, and these are cards that I added in, a few of the cards. I've got about, I don't know, 15 or 20 that I'll go through. So I added some card draw because Aminatou kind of gives the impression that she has card draw on her, but she really doesn't, because it's draw one, put one back on top of your library. You're not getting card advantage out of that.
Yeah, you're not going to see a new card.
Yeah, and so whatever you put away on top of the library, you're drawing your next time you draw. Yeah. So not particularly helpful. So I put in cards like Cloud Blazer.
Ooh.
So 3, a white and a blue, for a 2/2 human scout with flying. And then whenever Cloud Blazer enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and you draw 2 cards. I don't really care about the life gain, but drawing 2 cards for 1 ETB. So if you think about this, like in context with Aminatou being out, you cast Cloud Blazer, draw 2. You use Aminatou's down 1 ability to flicker the Cloud Blazer, and you draw 2 more. So you've drawn 4 cards in this turn with something like that. They had Mole Drifter in the deck list just kind of
this is kind of just a
just repetition of that.
Bonus round Mole Drifter is what the Cloud Blazer's about.
A lower CMC one to do with this would be Wall of Omens. So when the Wall of Omens enters the battlefield, draw a card. It's 1 and a white for a 0/4 defender.
Okay.
I used Ichor Wellspring.
Does it say when it's destroyed or when it leaves?
So when it enters the battlefield and when it goes to the graveyard.
Okay.
So in that case, like if somebody happens to cast their
Vandal Blast.
Yeah, like their Vandal Blast. Cool. I'm not too bent out of shape. It had an ETB. I was maybe able to abuse it a little bit if that was what I had on the battlefield. And now it going to the graveyard isn't going to make me cry because I get benefit from that too.
All right.
And then Well of Ideas. This is kind of, you know, I mean, this is a $2 card. So in terms of priciness,
you and this card, man.
It's one of my favorites, man. So 5 and a blue for an enchantment. When Well of Ideas enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. At the beginning of your draw step, draw 2 additional cards. And so obviously enters, draw 3, and then you can flicker it to draw another, or sorry, draw 2, flicker it to draw another 2. So this is another instance of when it comes into play, when you play it, you can draw yourself 4 cards.
All right.
So stuff like that's going to dig deeper into the deck where you have more options. And hopefully that makes it so that when you need to go back up with Amina Tau just to get her loyalty back up, you have options in hand of things you don't necessarily need to use right now. You can top deck with. A little bit of extra ramp that I put into the deck. So Core Cartographer, 3 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a Plains card, put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. Obviously, if you're running a more advanced land base, this becomes more attractive because you can go get, you know, like your shock lands with that.
Okay.
So yeah, that like Core Cartographer. Another one that I put in here was Priest of Geeks. So 2 and a black. When Priest of Geeks enters the battlefield, add 3 black to your mana pool. So it replaces its cost, but then if you're using it with Amina Tau, it's just something you can flicker for an extra 3
give
mana.
Yourself, a little bit of a boost there.
Yeah. Mycosynth Wellspring, very similar to the Ichor Wellspring, but instead of drawing a card, you're going and getting a basic land out of your library. And then I just tossed in the Peregrine Drake. It's a cheap card. It's 25 cents currently. 5 and a blue. When it enters the battlefield, untap up to 5 lands. So again, covers its own cost.
And then starts giving you 5
extra mana thereafter. So, you know, I mean, we talk about other cards in the
form. This is definitely your wheelhouse.
Oh, it is. Like I'm gonna be building Amina Tau for sure. For sure. So these are kind of some things that give you some nice advantage, I think. Just really basic, pretty cheap upgrades. I don't think I added very much cost with those cards. Obviously, you can get your more high-powered mana rocks or ones that are high producers. Like if you wanted to, you could add in like a Gilded Lotus, a Thran Dynamo, Assault Monolith. Those types of things.
Resetting things, yeah.
Yeah. So you can get yourself advanced, you know, paced ahead of everybody. These are some cards that I'm calling the You Deserve It ETBs.
Okay.
You know, cause dude, you fucking deserve it, dude. You deserve it. Sometimes you just need things to cover different strategies or a way to win. So
you deserve having that.
Because you do. You just deserve having those things. Agent of Erebos. Really, you would typically want to put this in something that's using more of your, like, usually you'll see this, I guess, in Reanimator decks.
Yeah.
Or decks that are relying a little more on enchantments. But here, so you've got 3 and a black that for a 2/2 zombie that has Constellation. So when Agent of Erebos or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, exile all cards from target player's graveyard.
Just nukes the yard.
Yeah, nukes the yard. And so this can actually be used a little bit flexibly with some flexibility here. You can use Amina Tau to blink the Agent of Erebos, or some of the stuff that they already have in the deck, like Cloud Form or Light Form, which are really good card advantage cards in this deck, you can flicker those and it's an enchantment entering the battlefield, so it'll trigger the constellation effect on Agent of Erebos. So kind of a good little synergy there on that one.
Yeah.
I think. The Perplexing Chimera, this has been a big discussion, I think, in the community for this particular commander.
Oh, dude.
So...
Because again, it's you own.
It's that you own. This is
control.
where we're taking advantage of permanents you own. So Perplexing Chimera is 4 and a blue for an enchantment creature Chimera. It's a 3/3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may exchange control of Perplexing Chimera and that spell. If you do, you may choose new targets for the spell.
Yeah, this is...
So this is a big deal here for this one. Because you counter something, you use Amina Tau to blink the Perplexing Chimera back to your control.
Yeah.
And just keep doing that. So, dude, you deserve it.
Yeah, you deserve a Perplexing Chimera.
You fucking deserve it.
And whatever hate comes with it.
Right.
Because it's spell. Like
it's spell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
grab hold of that counter spell.
Yeah, there's a lot that you could do with it. It's
like... Yeah. I'm just thinking about like all the stupid shit you could do. Other than like a board wipe, that's the only thing. It's like,
oh yeah, you're like, well, fuck, that's a bummer.
But hey, you still control your planeswalker, probably.
Yeah, you do. You do in this context. So let's see, what else do we have in here? Oh, then I put in some removal type things. So that would include like the Ravenous Chupacabra, 2 and 2 black. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature. And just because I fucking love the card, Reality Acid. So 2 and a blue for an enchant permanent, has vanishing 3. When Reality Acid leaves play, enchanted permanent's controller sacrifices it. So that one I think is nice in the context of doing a blink strategy because it's permanents. You can deal with a variety of pesky permanents. If somebody's got a land, they've got that Glacial Chasm that you just need to deal with. Reality Acid, you know, like you're good. This one's for you, Andy. Torgar, Famine Incarnate.
Really?
It's not a perfect fit here, but it does have, it is an ETB. So Torgar is 6 and 2 black for 7/6 Avatar.
Yeah.
As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. The spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. This deck's probably not terribly well situated to use that to cheapen, maybe, because the value of Torgar could be well worth it.
Okay.
When Torgar Famine Incarnate enters the battlefield, up to 1 target player's life total becomes half their starting life total rounded down. And then we just start to blink it using Amina Tau, bringing people down.
Is the Magister Sphinx on this list?
I actually didn't put the Magister Sphinx on here. I should, huh?
Well, I was wondering if it was just like out of your budget thing because it's over $2. So
I didn't put it in because of that.
I mean, Magister Sphinx is it's kind of expensive. It's 7 mana, so 4 white, blue, black, flying. When Magister Sphinx comes into play, target's player's life total becomes 10 for a 5/5 flying Sphinx. So they're 2 hits away from being dead, even with that happening.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely a worth consideration. I think I was trying really hard to not increase the value of the deck.
Sure.
So that was one of the reasons, I suppose, there.
Yeah, Magister Sphinx is kind of from old school Commander.
That's a pretty hot pick, Andy. I like that.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
So kind of going the opposite direction, I put the Resolute Archangel in here. So 5 and 2 white. When the Resolute Archangel enters the battlefield, if your life total is less than your starting life total, it becomes equal to your starting life total.
Fuck off. It's so annoying.
It's a 65-cent card, you know? Like, you can really make it hard for people to get rid of you.
Annoying. Well, I'm back to my starting life total, guys.
Yeah, well, that's
cool. Congrats.
What else you got for me? But that's kind of like the highlights. I mean, I do think when I look a little more closely at Amina Tau, there actually are some pretty there's some pretty solid cards in here. Like I mentioned, like Cloudform, Lightform, some of those.
Let me ask you something. How are you keeping her alive?
That's a good
How many
point.
uses do you get out of her? Do you get 3?
So yeah, she comes in with 3 loyalty.
And bringing her down by 1.
Bringing her down by 1. So you're going to have to do her up 1 here and there.
Okay.
I put in the Oath of Teferi to kind of help out a little bit.
What does that do?
So when Oath of Teferi enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent you control, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So it actually
resets
is a supplement here if you need that.
Or you can reset her.
Or you can, you can reset her when it comes in.
Okay.
And then it also says you may activate the loyalty abilities of planeswalkers you control twice each turn rather than only once. So if you just need to go up and just den down, so you can just kind of keep her sitting in the same place. I think that's a really good one to use.
But you can use her ability to blink it.
Yeah.
It blinks her.
Yeah, and then you can
to reset her.
Exactly.
Huh. That's a lot of cayenne right there. That's a lot of cayenne.
That's a good one. People have talked about the Deep Glow Skate.
It's not going to happen if you want to keep it on the budget, but it would be good.
Yeah, it would be good here. That would be if you're just looking to focus on that middle ability. That's a good card for
or drop that ultimate.
Yeah, I mean,
but the Deep Glow Skate, like, invest now.
Yeah,
invest now in this Deep Glow Skate.
Yeah, definitely go get it. Definitely go get it. I've put in other cards to I guess subordinate the strategy. So that would include things like Conjurer's Closet. So exile target creature, so that can do other things if you need to focus on bringing Amina Tau up that turn, but you still have stuff you want to flicker. I did put in Brago. Brago's only $1 right now. So you can do Brago.
Brago's $1.
Brago's $1.
Hey, so you ever been to like in a gas station and they've got like the DVDs for sale? Which is the destination of all movies, right? Like, think of the hottest movie right now in the theater.
Eventually, it's going to end up in a gas
be in
station
the bargain bin at a gas station with the big orange sticker on it, right?
It's true.
So I was flipping through there once, and I think I saw I think it was like the final cut Blu-ray edition of Blade Runner. It was like for $2.
And you're just like, this is one of my favorite fucking movies. This is
like my favorite movie, dude. Like, it is my favorite movie, but that's kind of what's happening to Brago.
Yeah, right? It really is.
He's getting he is a damn good card. Like, his price does not reflect.
Oh, no.
Does not reflect his.
No, there was a reprint, I think, within the last year.
Which was
like Iconic good. Masters or something like that. One of those. So there was a reprint of him. And I think the reputation's probably getting it to where, I mean, I'm taking my Brago deck apart.
Maybe, yeah.
So
maybe.
I don't know. It is. This is going to be like, we talked about this before. Mm-hmm. How like I started with my whole blink flicker thing with Rune. Had Brago
the arms race episode.
Yeah. Had Brago in the deck, saw Brago and was like, holy shit, that was just way better.
Yeah.
Brago's way better than Amina Tau. But, you know, you get black by having Amina Tau. She doesn't have a reputation as yet. And he can be in the deck to support. And he'll be good.
So this is kind of double-edged for you. Like, you're taking Brago into Amina Tau.
Yeah,
all right.
For sure. For sure. You'll notice some familiar cards that I just listed off.
Yeah. The well of ideas stood out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, Core Cartographer is one of my...
It's going to bug you, man. You're going to play this and you're like, oh, you're so weak. You so used to be so beautiful.
Your ass used to be so beautiful.
What happened to you, Blink deck?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. I did put a couple other things in to kind of like subordinate the strategy. Okay. So like Mist Meadow Witch is also in there. But again, that's just a creature.
What's that one do again?
So it's 1 and hybrid white blue for a 1/1 Kithkin wizard.
Ooh, a Kithkin.
And it has an activated ability of 2 white blue. Exile target creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step.
Okay.
So creature, and obviously that one's not abusable because it's end of turn.
Yeah,
It comes back.
Yeah.
But
it's not Deadeye Navigator.
Right. But the Deadeye Navigator is in here.
Ah.
Because the Deadeye Navigator is under $2.
Another one of the gas station movies right there.
Exactly. Exactly. Both Deadeye Navigator and Brago, extraordinarily powerful cards in this format. They're relatively cheap.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't here, what I guess I could pose the question, like, how effective do I think this list would be that I've come up with?
Okay, hang on. Kyle, how effective do you think this list would be that you came up with?
It's a good question, Andy. I think it'll do okay. It's more focused than the Precon.
Because it's not trying to keep these other commanders in mind.
It's not trying to do, like, service these other commanders.
Did you keep any of the miracle cards?
I kept a couple of them.
Which? Sorry, I'm derailing the answering of your question, but I'm curious.
I kept the one that's new with the list.
Okay.
Entreat the Dead.
Huh.
Just because I was like, hey, it's here, it's cute. You actually pull it out of the list and decrease the value because it's listing at $4 right now. I take it back. That's the only one I left in. I took them all out.
How much is Temporal Mastery?
Temporal Mastery, I don't think is running for too much right now. Let me...
Because that's if I had to pick a miracle card in those colors, it would be like Terminus.
So Terminus is in their list.
Does it kind of freak you out or something?
It does.
Okay.
It freaks me out.
What's the other one? Entreat the Angels?
Entreat the Angels is in the list. I don't think...
They're Precon? Or you'd have to get
it's in the Precon.
Ah.
It's in the Precon.
Okay.
That one's come down because it's been in reprints as well. So they had the... what do they call those when they do like
Dude, when that was in standard, I remember that thing being a little bit. Same with Temporal Mastery.
Yeah. No, it's true. Because I remember getting a foil Entreat the Angels, and that thing was worth well over $20 for a while.
Temporal Mastery's
Mastery's $8 right now.
$10.
Yeah. They had it in Modern Masters 2017. So
God, the art on that card.
Had a recent one. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
It's like the prototype of the miracle cards for sure.
It's the good one. Like there's some ones that are good, but it is like it's fucking the best, dude. Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is, like, I think I've built this so that you will draw a lot of cards, so you can get into a lot of options. I think I've put it to where you have a little more ramp than I would typically build into a deck.
Okay.
So you should have plenty of mana available, and I think there's some promising targets, I guess, for Amina Tau to blink. So like the Mere Battlesphere, or, you know, like I mentioned, Torgar. There's some things that can kind of push your strategy forward and get you some benefit. So I think it has multiple win cons available to you. It has a lot of card draw and a lot of mana available to you, so you can kind of push your strategy forward, and some support for her. The other thing too is I just don't think the whole top deck manipulation thing is, like, you've talked about this pretty.
I'm not a fan.
Pretty adamantly recently. Like,
I'm not really a fan of top deck stuff, but that's just me.
And it eats up space in a deck, right?
Yeah.
Like, in order to have top deck manipulation, in order to play that route of a strategy, you're replacing a sub strategy in your deck that could exist there with something that's just trying to set your own deck up for you.
Well, think about trying to set up like walk me through this, right? Like, let me just kind of, and this might not be the greatest example, right? But
okay.
If let's look at Terminus, right, as like as an idea of what you want to top deck.
Sure.
Right. Terminus is 6 mana to put all creatures on the bottom of their owner's library. So
right.
it's pretty good. I mean, it goes through indestructibility.
Yeah, it is really good.
Like it just buy, right? But if I really wanted to cast it for its miracle cost of 1 mana,
right,
the cheapest way to do that is with her. So now I'm using 3 to put her out.
Yeah. You're using a turn.
And then I have to go all the way around the table again.
Right.
Because it has to be the first card you drew, and I've already drawn a card this turn.
Yeah, so you use her ability to put Terminus on top of your library.
Like, she's actually okay for top deck manipulation.
Yeah, before her, it was if you want to do that, that's fine.
Yeah, before her, I needed like a scroll rack.
Yeah. Which
is what, 1 mana? Or is it 2?
I think.
Plus I think the activation's 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 mana to put it out, 1 to activate. So yeah, I was right. So 2 mana to put it out, 1 to activate. So if we're doing this in the same turn, it's 3.
Yeah.
To top deck it. So all the way around.
Between your commander or scroll rack, either way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the advantage here is that you could do this before your turn begins. So yeah, the card you get is the terminus, the next one.
Sure.
But it's a lot of resource investment to try to reduce the cost of things. And then I'm trying to think about what cards exist in Esper. Like, what cards exist in Esper that aren't miracles, that care about being the first card you draw or be the one that's at the top of your library.
Yeah. I mean,
what are those cards?
Obviously, Yennet is going to push that as well. So you can kind of like make it so that there's a broader thing you can do.
But why? Just build the deck with odd colors.
Right.
I mean, odd CMCs.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Yeah, like you're heavier handed with the odd CMC.
And then, the stuff that you really need that can't be odd, like those need to be instant speed spells anyway you don't really want off the top.
Sure.
So yeah, your counter spell, your obligatory cyclonic rift,
right?
Maybe some board wipes or stuff or something that you just really wouldn't be interested in casting on her combat anyway. You just draw it off.
Yeah.
The rest is like, I just want to cheat this shit in. Like, so Aminatou,
I think
I like where you've taken it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah,
I'm glad we're doing the blink thing,
and that's why I bring.
But it's really cool that she facilitates both.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah,
and
I think that's why I bring up the whole top deck manipulation thing, because people might listen to this and be like, "Well, why aren't you leaning into that?" Like, well, because it's
expensive.
It requires an expensive package to be built into the deck in order to do it
for cards and mana,
and it eats up space for things that don't actually push you closer to victory. Right?
True.
They only set up other things, so the density of things that actually push your deck closer to victory has to go down. It suffers.
Sure.
So, anyways, that's Aminatou. That's what I did. The list currently, as we're recording, I think its value is right around. Man, every night with mosquito abatement, dude.
It's got to happen.
You know, I don't want to get eaten. It's showing on Tapped Out. You can take it to Card Kingdom and get it for $69.61, and TCG Player for $73. So
$33 to upgrade it.
Yeah, $33 upgrade.
If you went out and got the precon, which that's the other thing. If you get the precons, you get the commanders.
Yeah, you get things.
Where everywhere else, you have to pre-order them, wait for them to get mailed to you.
Yeah, you'll have the commanders in hands sooner. So yeah, that's kind of what that is. I think it's a very serviceable deck that you can get the precon, do some very light upgrades, and it's serviceable. All right, dude.
We ready to talk about my girl now?
Yeah, let's do it.
My girl. My God. Talk about my God. Whoopi Goldberg. Saheeli the Gifted. That's my focus. Figured let's try that under the Planeswalker. Let's stick with it.
All right, dude.
Let's stick with the Planeswalkers. So to review, Saheeli the Gifted is 2 blue and a red for a not Jehoira Weatherlight Captain Planeswalker. +1. She can create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. She can go up again, so she is a little different in that she has 2 ways to increase her loyalty.
Which is dope.
Isn't that neat?
I think
this time though, it says the next spell you cast this turn costs 1 generic less to cast for each artifact you control as you cast it.
Okay.
And then her ultimate is costing you 7 loyalty. It says for each artifact you control, create a token that's a copy of that, or a copy of it. Those tokens gain haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step. She enters in with 4 loyalty.
Okay.
So 4 loyalty, 4,
Yeah, 4/4.
So
4/4.
I think if anyone was looking to replace their Duretti or something like that, I because that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, cool. There's my Izzet artifact commander stuff. I have a way to now get blue into my artifact decks and not be seriously reliant on red. And honestly, it's not for me.
Turns out, huh?
It's not for me. She wants something different than what Duretti does. So if you've already got something built, like talking to the veteran artifact player out there who has all of that done and has been doing it since 2013 or whenever that came out.
Yeah.
Or 14.
2014.
Yeah, so been doing it for 4 years. If you look closely, she didn't really give you anything on her card that Duretti needed. So what Duretti needed, and this is just my opinion, Duretti needed tutors and a way to protect himself. Yeah. So she kind of has the servo thing going on.
Yeah, so she protects.
Right, but she didn't bring you any card draw. She gives you access to tutors like Fabricate.
Sure.
I guess, or War of Invention or things like that. But I don't.
Is there high enough density to make that worthwhile?
Her up 1 can be achieved by his down 2. He can weld, he can weld huge stuff into play, probably sooner than she can. Right. So let's talk like something crazy.
You have setup that you need to do with Saheeli.
Yeah, a little bit.
In terms of the battlefield needs to be set up with a number of artifacts that allow you to then cast something large, whereas he just needs to get something in the yard and weld.
Yeah, he's so good, dude. Like he's just dope.
Dude, he's the Pope. But with his Pope mobile.
She is. Yeah, he's the Goblin Pope. Yeah, on the Pope mobile. So yeah, like to put things into perspective, like just to kind of give like a really silly example. Let's say you're trying to like cheat in a planar bridge. It's normally like 8 mana to do that.
Okay.
So even if you wanted to cheat it in using her ability, you already have to be controlling 8 artifacts. That's a pretty developed game. You're pretty far in, pal. Right.
Right.
Where you have Duretti, you've got the planar bridge that you've looted or rummaged into your graveyard,
which he's helped you do that.
Let's say you just pop off that Solemn Simulacrum. And now you draw a card to boot and you get your planar bridge into play. Right? So he's now less loyal and she would be more loyal, I guess.
Sure. But
they're looking for different
pretty
things.
Cool.
And so when you look at Saheeli, I was like, what does this chick want from me, dude? Like, what does she want? I think she just wants to swarm the board. She wants a lot of artifacts. She doesn't want, at least then again, this is just how I'm seeing it, right?
Yeah.
She's like not really looking for quality. Or she's looking for quantity.
Yes.
Because she kind of lends herself to that. Like, oh, here's another shit servo. Here's another shit servo. Or, hey, let's drop the cost of this next spell. So if you kind of look at the list, I think Wizards was kind of saying that too.
Yeah.
With some of these cards that they bring in and make multiplicative token type artifacts.
Sure.
Like Brutaclad would be an example.
Okay.
So I can go through what I've took out to kind of give you an idea. I took out anything that didn't really I was thinking like, what do I really want to cheat in? So like the Scuttling Doom Engine is a good example. Like it's not something I'm really super into cheating in. Okay. I can't loop it. Put that in your Marquise of the Black Rose deck.
Sure.
And thank me later for that. That's who that's for. I'm okay with the Dark Steel Juggernaut. That actually makes sense considering what we're trying to do is flood the board with a swarm of Thopters and servos and mirrors, and that's what I was looking to do.
Yeah.
So kind of starting from the top, as far as pricing goes, I don't have a overall budget number for you of like what the price is going to be. I just know that every card that I tried to put in here, either I really thought it needed to be in the deck to kind of focus this thing a little.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took Brutaclad out. You probably could leave him. He might be okay.
Sure.
Because he does make the tokens have haste, which is valuable. He's just 6 mana.
Yeah.
So
it's not like he doesn't contribute to what you're trying to accomplish.
With her up 1, that wouldn't be very hard to cheat him in. And he does give tokens haste. So you probably want to leave Brutaclad. Thanos probably has to come out. Because he wants quality artifacts to abuse those activateds.
Right.
And
like, honestly, what are you going to do? Make another Thopter like with Thanos, right?
Yeah, like the mana kind of just starts kind of getting a little weary on there, right?
Yeah.
So he's not I took him out Maybe there's some places for them where I could see like, yeah, I mean, you're floating mana, might as well just dump it into and activate it on something.
Sure.
Because I've made it so the costs of these artifacts are just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Oh, and yeah, they don't need to be artifacts. It's any spell.
Sure.
So those two, if you had to pick one of the legends to keep in, if you're really looking like you want to try it, Brutaclad actually still works out. I want to do a Brutaclad list though, so this...
You're like, she's doing her own thing because... Brutaclad's coming.
Yeah, so I want to do a Brutaclad list. I'm not really wanting to like have a lot of overlap.
Yeah,
right.
I get you.
Yeah, so swarming the board. How are we going to swarm the board?
It's a good question, Andy.
Yeah. If you look at the list, they include some things that when they enter the battlefield, they bring Thopters with them. One that kind of will stick out is like the Maverick Thopterist. It's 3, a blue and a red. It actually has improvise, so it can be reduced by the amount of artifacts you control, kind of like a improvise. Just to read it, it says your artifacts can help you cast the spell! Exclamation point. It's actually a period. It should have had an exclamation point. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for 1. So it can be kind of helped along with the Thopters or servos that she's creating.
Oh, yeah.
The Thopters you're making from other places and the servo that she creates.
Okay.
So a Magic Thopterist enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. So this can be 3 artifacts and he's only 2 blue.
Right.
He's a blue and a red. See, like,
and then comes in with like, 2 extra bodies along with
so then the next time around we're coming down even further.
Yeah. Okay.
Pia and Kira Nalar. So legendary creature, human artificer. When Pia and Kira Nalar enter the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. They have the activated of sacrifice an artifact. Pia, Kira, and Nalar deal 2 damage to any target for a 2/2. So bringing more tokens as they come in. So you're kind of like, I'm looking at stuff like this. The Shattering Sphinx. Shattering Sphinx. Shattering Sphinx is 4, a blue and a blue for an artifact creature Sphinx. Flying, whenever an artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may put a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature token in flying into the battlefield. It's 4/4. So yeah, the Shattering Sphinx and the Maverick Thopterist, they come with the deck already out of the precon.
Okay.
So does the Mere Battlesphere, which is a well-known,
highly relevant here.
Yeah, so 7 mana for an artifact creature, Mere Construct, 4/7. When the Mere Battlefield enters the battlefield, put 4 1/1 colorless Mere artifact creature tokens into the battlefield. Whenever Mere Battlefield attacks, you may tap X untapped Mere you control. If you do, the Mere Battlefield gains X, so it would go up to an 8/7 at this stage. Yeah, so plus X plus O until the end of the turn, and it deals X damage to target defending player. So it's a lot of cayenne. That's a lot of cayenne. 8/7, and then they get hit in the face for 4.
This is
for the privilege of playing against you in the game of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, this is probably where you want Brutaclad to be in here paired with that Mere Battlesphere, huh?
I mean, if you can somehow make a copy of the Mere Battlesphere and turn it into a token.
Sure.
But otherwise, he's just giving you a 2/1. Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean. The ball's getting bigger with the Meres.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Thopter Assembly, this actually comes with it too. I'm wondering what art is on it, the one they did, because they did like a reprint that looks like it's from Kaladesh.
Oh, that's right.
In the
I think it's actually similar to the one,
or is it the old one?
I think it's similar to the old one, if I recall.
But the Planeswalker's from Kaladesh.
But yeah, that's true. The Planeswalker's from Kaladesh, but Brutaclad's on Phyrexia, right? Where the original one was from, right?
True. So I'll allow it. Thopter Assembly is 6 mana, flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control no Thopters other than the Thopter Assembly, return Thopter Assembly to its owner's hand and create 5 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying.
That's a lot of tokens.
That's a lot of cayenne again.
It is.
This probably could be harder to pull off if all these other Thopters are there. You're like, damn it, I don't want Thopters. I want 5 Thopters, but I have 2. Thopter Engineer, she's 2 in a red. When the Thopter Engineer enters the battlefield, you make a Thopter, artifact creature token with flying. Artifact creatures you control have haste. So she kind of bestows the haste and gives you the Thopter. Whirler Rogue. This is also included.
Yeah.
So these are included already. So 2 blue and a blue. When the Whirler Rogue enters the battlefield, create 2 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. You can actually tap 2 artifact creatures you control. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. Plus, and it's a 2/2.
That could be useful considering.
So how about that Darksteel Juggernaut now?
Shit.
That must attack each turn of Able.
Right.
Yeah. So now you can kind of grant it evasion and
get itself through.
Yeah. Since these are all kind of ETBs, I did include the Deadeye Navigator as well.
That makes sense.
Because they already give you a duplicate, and that's a good way to blip.
Oh, yeah.
Blip everything away. But I kind of wanted that around.
I think they've got a new art for the duplicate, too. At least it's not one that I'm familiar with.
Thopter Spy Network. So 2 and a blue and a blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control an artifact, put a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature with token with flying into the battlefield. Whenever 1 or more artifact creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. So a source of card draw.
Yeah.
But it's also giving you this blocker.
Yeah.
So the servo is great, but this is, Thopters are just better.
Oh, yeah.
They're just better blockers.
You want the flyers, right?
Yeah. So this is what I'm kind of going for here. Like, we're just looking to just swarm the board.
Yeah, like fill the battlefield with all this stuff.
Yeah. So the Mirror Turbine, it's 5 mana. Okay. I really love this card. I just do. It's a good combo piece. So 5 mana, you can tap it and put a colorless Mirror artifact creature token into the battlefield. Or you can tap 5 Mirror you control and search your library for a Mirror creature card and put it into the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So is Brutaclad a mirror? I don't think he actually is.
He does. It's not in the
clearly in the
listed
art
on the card, but yeah, clearly on the art, like for sure.
Is he? Is he really not?
I think you're right. I just like to imagine Brutaclad being just this ball of gas.
Yeah, he's just
bubbled
he's
up.
A legendary artifact creature, like, artificer.
Blah, blah, blah.
He's clearly a mirror, but not for real. Not where it counts. Not where it counts. But yeah, get the mirror battle ball. Just get the battle ball.
Oh yeah,
that's the tutor.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the idea. Like we're gonna flood them up. Take advantage of that negative, or sorry, her middle.
The other +1.
Her middle ability to cheat stuff into play. So yeah, to kind of say it doesn't need to be artifacts that you're cheating into play. It can be any spell.
Oh yeah. So the
budget options that I went with, like the really big ones that I'm like, all right.
What are your bombs?
Yeah, what are my bombs? I'm actually not very good at bombs cards. I think I'm good at finding like combos.
You know what?
I really don't know what to do when it's like I need one fucking card.
You know what? What's funny is I feel the same way about myself. So I've learned as we've been doing this podcast, like I did that Sachi deck when we were doing the monocolor decks. And I was like, man, I need something to do with this mana I'm producing.
Sure.
And it was like, you need bombs.
Yeah. What do you do?
That's the only thing there is to do. Like just put bombs in. So I put those bombs in that deck. And then I was like, why didn't I do this with the Gitrog monster? I produce a shit ton of mana with that deck. I don't have that many bombs in it.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of more
looking for comboing.
I'm more into kind of like a critical mass of things. Sure. Usually. Like I like to have as you put it, kind of like the king of the hill, but of the board state type of a thing.
Yeah. I think what would be really good to have her just push into play for a reduced cost is actually the Hellkite Igniter, which is included in their list.
Oh yeah.
I actually use this as a win con into ready to this day.
Okay.
I don't know. I just like it. It's scary. It's a big dragon that looks like it's,
it fits in with what you're doing with the strategy.
Yeah. He looks like a 747 crashing into the ground with a dragon with his engines on fire out of his little arms. So Hellkite Igniter is 5 a red and a red. So if we use this activated for her middle ability, we can drop that just to 2 red.
Okay.
If we have enough artifacts.
Yeah.
So let's only pretend we only have 5 artifacts on board just to kind of keep it symmetric, right?
Yes.
So we pay 2 red because we've used our middle ability.
Yeah.
He comes in, he's flying haste 5/5. So whatever mana we have left over, let's say we only have, I don't know what condition we're in, but let's say we can activate his ability once. He's now a 10/5 flying haste.
Yeah.
That only costs 4 mana because he activated it.
Yeah, because he activated in addition to the CMC.
Yeah, but you can spam it. So you can actually activate it multiple times.
Yeah.
You could easily get this
to where it's like a one-shot kill with just this one dragon.
Right. In my experience, it's actually like in the Duretti deck, there's no way to really cheat this cat into play. He's not an artifact. So I'm usually having to wait until I have like a lot of mana rocks, a lot of ways to produce mana, so I can get that 7 mana to get it into play. Saheeli
Saheeli's like, whatever, just get it in.
Yeah, she cancels that. She's saying, well, let's focus the mana on activating him.
It's a bomb.
Getting that activate and just taking somebody out of the game.
Okay to set it up the bomb for somebody at any time.
Set him up the bomb. Metalwork Colossus is another one. This one kind of, you don't even need to use her ability on. You could do this and something else.
Okay.
So the Metalwork Colossus, which is not included in their list, is 11. It's 11 mana, but the Metalwork Colossus costs X less to cast, where X is the total converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts you control. So it's very specific. The non-creature artifacts reduce it, and then you could possibly get 11. I mean, you just need what? 6 and a 5, your Nim Death Mantle and your Mere Turbine, and you can cast this for free.
Oh, yeah.
But you could still add her ability to that.
Yeah, like the ability can help compensate. I like with both of those that her middle ability helps compensate for something that would normally be a barrier with both of these two, right?
Yeah. 50 cents is the card. You can also sacrifice 2 artifacts and return the Metalwork Colossus from your graveyard to your hand. It's a 10/10. Cool. There are better cards than this guy in this mana range, but again, I'm trying to manage.
We're keeping it on budget.
I really honestly think the Shattering Sphinx is pretty freaking hefty with what she does if you keep producing more and more Thopters.
Okay.
So I think she get unhinged pretty quick. The Steel Hellkite is another one. That 6 mana can be just completely negated.
Yeah, it just comes in for free.
And then you can use the 2 to get it larger, or use that X cost to wipe out the non-land permanents. The Steel Hellkite.
Yeah. I'm into that.
Void Winnower is my non-$2 card that I really probably, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe this is a non-budget acquisition. There's some Eldrazi out there that are pretty crazy, that are pretty strong. I mean, like if you're talking like maybe the Artisan, a Kozilek is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, there's a lot, like the Breaker of Armies, like these things are
yeah, like crazy. we brought up It That Betrays recently.
Pathrazer Ulamog. Yeah, well, I don't even know what It That Betrays is going for right now, but I don't know. I wanted something that was just, it was just a hard-hitting card, and it made the board state warped in your favor. So it's 9 mana. Your opponents can't cast spells with even converted mana cost. Your opponents can't block creatures with even converted mana cost. It's 11. It's a 11/9.
We've seen that card a lot in our play group. It's
a cheap Eldrazi.
It's a cheap Eldrazi, and it's impactful, like very big impact.
I also think that Blue Sun Zenith would be better than their Tidings that they include.
Okay.
For card draw. So she can reduce that X cost, and basically you put X into equal how many artifacts you have and draw that many. So it's X, a blue, and a blue. I actually like this card. It's clunky as fuck. I get it, but I guess I just hope for the best that I'm going to draw it again somewhere later in the game.
Please just come back.
You know, after I shuffle it back. So yeah, X, a blue, and a blue for an instant. That's the other reason I like it, is that you can do it right before your turn begins.
Instant speed.
Yeah, that's
in this case, that may not even be all that necessary, because you'll still have mana to cast.
Not with her spell, or not with her ability. You need to be on your turn. Target player draws X cards, shuffle Blue Sun Zenith into its owner's library. So you just draw some cards, and then hopefully you might draw it again.
Yeah.
Comet Storm's the other one. Everyone probably saw that one coming from a mile away.
Sure.
So X, a red and a red, has a multi-kicker of 1 generic. You may pay an additional 1 mana any number of times as you cast this spell. So choose target creature or player, then choose another target creature or player for each time the Comet Storm was kicked. Comet Storm deals X damage to each of them. So her reduction actually would be included in the multi-kicker because it's an additive cost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you push that in there.
You know, something I'm liking more and more as you're talking through this is how she sort of, that middle ability of hers sort of gets around where some cards have, like, I guess, a prohibitive state of being.
Mm-hmm.
Like the multi-kicker on Comet Storm is usually, it's kind of hard to stomach, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to hit more people, but you also just want to sink as much as possible into that X. or she's just like, let me just help it, push it along.
Yeah, I would definitely throw the Thopters out at everybody, do the attack, and then post-main a Comet Storm in their face.
Oh, yeah.
Or pick off creatures or whatever you're using. Just don't hesitate with Comet Storm. That's my advice. I've had a lot of games where I'm just sitting there holding, waiting for this crazy turn where I can blow a huge Comet Storm. Like, it's not actually like exsanguinate. Like,
no.
Just shoot the spell.
Yeah, it's right.
Either kill off multiple targets. Like, it just, I think your opportunity to use it in this deck will be well enough.
Sure.
And again, this is just a budget pick.
Yeah, but it's good.
Budget pick. One hell of a mythic, though. Right? One hell of a mythic to pull out of a master's set.
G thinks wizards.
Whir of Invention. X, a blue, and a blue. Instant. It also has improvise, so this can kind of do double duty a little bit. Search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost of X or less. Put it in the battlefield and shuffle your library. So it's $2. This one.
Nice.
So whir that shit into play. You can do this one at instant speed.
Yeah.
So if people are kind of getting wise to your combos, which I'll go over some of the combos in a second that just end the game if you put them together. This might be something you wouldn't use her ability for, but the target UB go grab.
So you want to surprise people perhaps with this because you're going to set up a combo that you're going to use on your turn.
But this is just me and my meta.
Sure.
My meta wouldn't.
Because obviously the ideal thing to do here would be to just use her ability to reduce its cost.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
savvy players will not allow that to land, right?
Yeah. Trying to find some other stuff that I think are worth noting. Since we're using a lot of Thopters, Clock of Omens can do some work for us.
Oh, yeah.
So Clock of Omens wasn't included in the list. They do have the Unwinding Clock, the more expensive of the clocks. A Clock of Omens is 4. You can tap 2 untapped artifacts you control, untap target artifact, including itself. So this and one of her servos can get you that Thran or get you your Soul Ring moving twice.
Gotcha.
That's really what you're looking for.
Yeah,
or that turbine moving twice or whatever. Genesis Chamber. I added this because I'm greedy. I don't know if it will work out. But Genesis Chamber is 2 mana. It says whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, and the Genesis Chamber is untapped, that creature's controller creates a +1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token.
Okay.
So for all these guys coming in, like my thought was the Thopterist type people, the people that bring Thopters,
sure,
it's just adding 1 extra artifact to their ETB. And if I'm having a way to blink them with the Deadeye Navigator or whatever, I'm trying to get up more mirrors. So I threw this one in here. It probably could backfire, especially if you're going up against Kyle's Amina Tau Blinktown.
Sure.
Oh, thanks for the mirrors. So it needs to be tapped either by the clock or some other means to deny it to everyone else. But that's kind of a hoop to jump through. The Inspiring Statuary is another neat piece of tech. It's 3 mana. Non-artifact spells you cast have improvise. So if this is kind of what you were doing. This subordinates her ability a little bit.
Yes.
So you can use the artifacts to kind of shift it back.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was included in the list. I left the Mirror Works in because my thought was, well, since we're not going to be paying costs for things, why don't we use the artifacts and add the 2? So it's 5 mana. Whenever another non-token artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you can pay 2. If you do, put a token that's a copy of that artifact into the battlefield.
Okay.
So this is included in their list. I left it in because I thought, why not just get 2?
Yeah.
For paying 2.
Yeah.
If you're using her middle ability a lot and dropping the cost of these things. Staff of Nin, which is a combo piece for this. Is it? Do I have enough pieces for it to be a combo piece? I don't think so this time. But it's just
but it could potentially be a combo piece with what you could do with this.
You could get it to a combo piece, but the card you need I didn't include, and it's part of my non-budget acquisitions for this thing.
Sure.
Staff of Nin, 6 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card. You can tap Staff of Nin to deal damage to target creature or player.
Okay.
You're playing with the Planeswalker, you can't really do the Immortal Sun. It'll shut your deck off. Even though the Immortal Sun is a really cool card, it can't happen here.
Sure.
Trading Post, let's put the Thopters to use. 4 mana for a artifact Planeswalker Trading Post. Yeah, 1 mana tap to discard a card. You gain 4 life. You can 1 mana tap, pay 1 life to make a goat. I think the ones you'll be interested in is the 1 tap sacrifice a creature, one of the servos, to return target artifact a card from your graveyard to your hand, or you can tap sacrifice an artifact to draw a card. It's just good.
It's in this context, it's so much value, right?
Yeah, it's just good. I added the voltaic key. It's $1.07.
Yeah.
This thing just in the worst case scenarios, it pumps up your mana rocks. It adds another extra use out of the mana rocks. Anything that gets you a net of at least 2 mana. So your Soul Ring is now a Thran Dynamo. Yeah. Because you can tap it. You just get more mana. Or now your Dreamstone Hedron, which is included in their list, it's giving you, what, 5?
Yeah, and I think they have the Mimic Vat in their list as well. Yeah, so you can do another activation of the Mimic Vat.
The Mirror Turbine can go further. Things just go further with a Voltaic Key. It's kind of a combo-y type card, but I just threw it in because I just like having access to it. Storm the Vaults, 2 a blue and a red. So it's actually from Ixalan. It's only 90 cents. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you create a colorless treasure artifact token you can tap it and add that much to your mana pool. But then at the beginning of your end step, if you control 5 or more artifacts, transform Storm of the Vault. So this is like your artifact. What's the green card that turns? It's basically
the Rights of Vitlamok.
Yeah, this is like your artifact Rights of Vitlamok, right? Yeah. Like, so when it flips, it basically turns into a Tolarian Academy. Yeah. So add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, or you can add blue to your mana pool for each artifact you control. That on top of her thing.
Yeah, like you'll have a wealth of mana for the things that you want to do. Like, yeah, definitely get your hand full because you're about to go crazy.
Efficient construction, 3 and a blue. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a Thopter.
Okay.
And then mechanized production. So it's 2 a blue and a blue. Enchant artifact creature you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted artifact. Then, if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as one another, you just win the game. So if you're spamming these artifacts, like
which you will,
which I'm looking to do, it could happen. Probably not, but at least you have something that just keeps reproducing. A new.
It's really hard to pull off board state dependent win conditions, but there's a lot of value to that card. I liked that when I saw this on your list. I'm into it.
So there's an engine included. I added liquid metal coating. It's your budget. Oh my God, I don't have a money for a Mycosynth Lattice. Yeah. So you tap it and target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, duh. It just becomes an artifact. So it's 2 mana. Target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types until end of turn. Yeah. Slow bat is included because these Thopters can fuel your ability to make things indestructible. He can make Saheeli indestructible. That does not mean that she doesn't lose loyalty if she's attacked.
Sure.
It basically, the only thing it would stop is a kill spell. Okay. If somebody tried to destroy target planeswalker or destroy target permanent or something, then it would work. I feel like the Thopters are probably about as good as you're going to get for a planeswalker to protect, and the servos and the mirrors that I've kind of loaded the deck with. The other thing that it really works with is a card called Shattering Pulse. So it's 1 in a red, but it has a buyback of 3. It's an instant spell. The buyback is 3, but it's just a destroy target artifact. Okay. So with this and the liquid metal coating, you could use her middle ability to cancel out the buyback and you can basically make it 1 red, but that only happens once.
Yeah, you only get the 1 instance of that, right?
Sure, but hey, that might be the difference between destroying 2 permanents.
Sure.
Maybe 3 permanents versus maybe only like 1 or 2. Yeah. So you're destroying multiple more permanents. So yeah, you liquid metal coating it, Shattering Pulse it. Okay. I really like this card because it's it's kind of like, it's like a capsize. Like, let's say you've done nothing and you've passed the turnaround.
Yeah, it's something you can hold up in your hand and do.
Just pop it. An alternative to this would be the Vaishino Heretic.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, I love that.
You use that card a decent amount in our group.
I love that guy.
You know what's funny to me is that how people forget. Like that card's out there and then
they just keep playing mana rocks.
They just keep playing mana rocks and it's like, no, he's going to fucking wreck them. Like, do not.
That's how I see him, is a reverse mana rock. So the combo, I'm draw Scorpion is really great for having a lot of artifacts that don't really stick around. Problem is that they're the type of cards that's just really set him off. They didn't really meet my budget requirement of staying under $2.
Okay.
Yeah. And come to think of it, come to think of it, I'm trying to think like, well, do I want to replace the Void? Because the Void Winner was over $2 on my list.
Do I want to put a combo type piece with the Draw Scorpion in instead?
I don't know. The Void Winner is just a good bomb. It's just a good, what are you going to do? 4 mana, whenever Draw Scorpion or another artifact creature you control is put into the graveyard from play, you may untap target artifact. So if you have the Draw Scorpion, and I went over this guy quite a bit in our artifact episode.
Yeah.
If you have the Draw Scorpion out, and let's say, and this is the cheapest one that I could find that would be like, let's just end the game, and it's not meeting my criteria of $2, but I just,
dude.
Yeah, I just wanted to be able to, I'd kill him off. But yeah, so Goblin Bombardment. So 1 in a red, sacrifice a creature. Goblin Bombardment deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So if you have this, the Mirror Turbine, and the Draw Scorpion,
okay,
you've won.
So now so to go through it, like the Goblin Bombardment allows you to sack one of your mirrors.
Ping. Draw Scorpion sees it, untaps
so you
the Mirror
untap
Turbine.
the Mirror Turbine. That gives you a mirror.
That taps, makes another mirror, sack it again, Draw Scorpion sees it.
Untap the, okay.
Sure. Ashnod's Altar or the Cart Clan Ironworks sets this guy the fuck off.
Yeah.
Especially with the Pentavis.
Oh,
which is a budget card, but the Ashnod's Altar and the KCI is not. It's not.
There are copies. There are copies of Ashnod's Altar currently that are running around like $4.
So yeah,
you can get it.
Could find a played one that fits that, so I can say that this is all under 2. Maybe find a played one that's not near mint.
Yeah.
So yeah, he kind of sets things off. There's a way to do it with the. There's a way to set him off. There's just a lot. There's a way to set him off with the what the hell's the guy's name? The welder guy. The where you reveal cards from your hand, and then it reduces by that much. Like, so you reveal however many colorless is in your hand, and it reduces it by that many. Like,
yeah, what is it? You mean the Goblin Welder?
No, it's something worker. It's something worker. He's extremely expensive. They actually had him banned and they unbanned him. He just goes nuts with this too, because you can just keep untapping him and add more and more mana to your mana pool. Like, you can go infinite with it if you have enough in your hand.
Yeah, I don't know.
Metal Worker.
The Metal Worker.
That's what it is.
I was like, I'm not seeing the welder.
So yeah, that would be way outside the.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
he by himself costs as much.
I've never even gone for a Metal Worker because it's so expensive.
So he's one. So yeah, if you have the Pentavis, and then like an Ashnod's Altar, and then right? Yeah, the Draw Scorpion, you've gone infinite. You can produce infinite mana with that because you can because it dies. Oh yeah, you need like an artifact to untap. So you need like maybe like a Thran, like a Soul Ring or something, like anything that basically lets you put them back and forth, and you keep untapping that. So maybe I could just put the Pentavis in. You wouldn't be able to do anything with it.
Yeah, because you need something. So with the Pentavis, enters the battlefield with 5 1/1 counters on it.
Yeah, but then you can remove a +1/+1 counter from the Pentavis, and you make a Pentavite, which is like a little flying like if you look at the art, it's like the little flying.
So I guess what you're doing is you're saying use the 2 mana from sacking it to Ashnod's Altar or to KCI to remove 2.
Yeah.
And then you're creating
well, because no, you just have to activate it again. Like pretty much you need something that nets you 3 mana and you're good. So if you have like a Thran Dynamo or I guess the Dreamstone Hadron, like anything that nets you 3.
Okay.
Because you pay 1 to remove it, but the sacrifice part comes from the sacrifice a Pentavite and then you move it back.
Sure.
So the Draw Scorpion's going to see that and untap your artifact that's giving you 3.
Right.
So as long as you're able to float 1. If you only have 2, you can just kill the board with something like Feroce God of the Forge.
Oh yeah, so if you had, because you could keep doing Pentavis, you could keep looping the Pentavis with one of those.
You're never netting any mana, but you have an infinite death.
Right.
So I just didn't include these in here because you could put impact tremors in, and that would, so you could do, so to kind of add to my list, like if you're thinking like, yeah, I like this Draw Scorpion and I want to use it for more things than just, I was just thinking like, well, if anybody destroys Thopters, you have any other way to like eat them, or if they die any other way, you get to untap an artifact. But it does combo with the Goblin Bombardment.
Yeah. Right. Quite nicely.
It combos with the Goblin Bombardment and the Mirror Turbine. You could throw the Pentavis in, but then you would need to throw in Impact Tremors in, which would be probably the lowest.
Oh yeah, so you get the
expense card.
That one's based off the ETB or the creature, right?
Yeah, so if creature enters battlefield, all your opponents take 1 damage.
Right.
You could do maybe the Outpost Siege, because that one says when a creature leaves play, everybody loses 1.
Okay.
At least it has some functionality. If you never have those pieces, you can do the whole like rapid draw thing, the frantic.
Oh, sure.
Top decking.
Yeah.
Thing. So, I mean, there is a way to do it. I think the temptation will be to put the impact tremors in and kind of do these Thopter things. And like, I don't know if, depending on your play group, and that's a level of hate you might not be able to handle yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that like, it's a Perforos type thing.
Just do it. Put it in. Yeah. Get the impact tremors and get the Pentavis in.
Yeah.
And if you run into the impact tremors, just like, whatever, I'm just going to start pinging people to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to play the red side of it.
Did you mention you put in the Kuldotha Forge Master too, right?
Yeah, that was the other one that I added. I really wanted to have a way to outlet these cards. He's just such a good card.
Yeah.
He's just such a good card. So he's a big he's not a mirror though. He's just a big construct is what it is. Kuldotha Forge Master, 5 mana. You can tap him, sacrifice 3 artifacts. He can be included in that.
Sure.
Search your library for an artifact card and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. So it's 250 this card.
Yeah, it's not like outrageous, but
it's just a good tool.
Really helpful.
You could go to a Fabricate, but honestly, I think Fabricate's not that much cheaper than this thing. And this thing's a little bit more recursive because she can give you those servos. Yeah, Fabricate's $339, $360.
Turns out this is cheaper.
This is actually cheaper and a permanent to boot. And it can be done at instant speed.
Right.
So right
you
before
can do
your
it
turn
whenever
begins.
you need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a good card. I put it in my Tashar artifacts list.
Okay.
And it's gotten me combo pieces that I needed, like in an effective way. Like it's just super good.
So as far as new cards that they invented for this deck that I would still be leaving in, I'm actually really into that Retrofit or Foundry. So it's a 1 mana artifact. Man, this thing is actually pretty cool. So it's 1 mana it's a 1 mana artifact. You can pay 3 to untap the Retrofit or Foundry. So this is a crazy if you find infinite mana, this thing's just going to go nuts because it can untap itself. Like it's packaged into it. It's like a Staff of Nin. Or not Staff of Nin, Staff of Domination.
Oh yeah.
So 1 mana, you can pay 3 to untap the Retrofitter Foundry. But you can pay 2 to create a colorless servo creature, or you can pay 1 and sacrifice a servo. So it specifically wants a servo and create a colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying, or you can pay nothing and sacrifice a Thopter and you make a 4/4 colorless construct artifact creature token.
Okay.
So this thing, if you achieve infinite mana,
yeah, you're just going to keep going.
Yeah, and the way to do that again is
impact tremors.
Not included in my list, but I would leave this in just because, let's say you have nothing you need to do. So you can turn her servos into Thopters, which are better blockers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better attackers.
Yeah, it's nice upgrades.
Right, or then, yeah, you have nothing left. It's like, I'm just going to use the mana and tap it. Like you can make product with this thing is the idea. Or turn the Thopters that you're making into 4/4s, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if that's where you're at, may as well.
Yeah, I leave that, and then I'd actually leave the Loyal Apprentice because she gets you Thopters. So yeah, it's one in a red for haste, Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. That token gains hastily on the turn. Really weak. It's a 2/1.
Yeah, 2/1 for 2.
I guess you could probably hang on to the other one, the Loyal Drake, if you were looking for a card draw thing. The Vidalcan Humiliator is the other new one they put in. I like this card. I didn't leave it on my list, but yeah, it's 3 and a blue, Metalcraft. Whenever Vidalcan Humiliator attacks, if you control 3 or more artifact creatures, your opponent's creatures lose all abilities and have a base power of 1/1 until end of turn. That's pretty freaking crazy.
That's cool.
That's pretty freaking crazy, especially if you've got some kind of like low-end board wipe, I suppose. Like
which you're running in red, like Amizium Mortars or something like that. Like,
well, I mean, or even hell, you could even do like the Whip Flare and not even lose your artifacts. And I think this thing survives the Whip Flare. Whip Flare just deals 2.
That's funny.
Yeah, I like this Vidalcan Humiliator. Yeah, it can treat you. Yeah, and what's crazy, it's creatures your opponents control. It's not the person you attacked.
Yeah, so it just sets it all up.
So yeah, Whip Flare. It just deals 2 damage to all non-artifact creatures. So he survives it, and you've wiped.
Yeah, you're like, cool. Everybody's gone.
Yeah, you've cleared it. You've cleared it out.
That's pretty funny.
So yeah, it's kind of a different take, at least for me. Just again, swarming and reducing costs. Swarming, reducing costs.
Yeah.
Non-budget acquisitions. The Mycosynth Lattice would be hugely helpful because of her because of all the. Yeah, there's just a lot of synergy with this list. Like, that mechanized production. Hey, how about all those plains and islands and mountains? Yeah, they are now artifacts and they share a name. The Mycosynth Lattice, and then every permanent you control is an artifact in addition to other types. So her
contributing to her middle ability.
Her middle ability just sky's the limit.
Yeah, like let's just draw lots of cards and dump it all out.
Yeah, that Comet Storm's gonna get nuts. Even her ultimate is, well, let's just clone my board state, my lands included.
Oh yeah,
and go crazy again.
Oh yeah.
So it would be very good to get that. Darksteel Forge obviously is another really good one to get. It's a good cheat target. It solidifies things. If you're really doing Thopters, you now have indestructible blockers.
Yeah, that gets annoying.
It does get
real quick.
It does. KCI, the Clark Clan Ironworks, would do you some work. It would do you some good. Pretty much her other ability would just be giving you 2 mana every turn. And sack out something to sacrifice. Ashnod's Altar is probably not a bad idea with the list I've done.
Sure.
Just Google draw Scorpion combos and have fun. You'll be like, yeah, this guy's got a lot going on for him.
It's so surprising to me. I mean, I guess because it's a common, like it's a cheap card. Like if you want a combo piece for cheap, like there it is. Like obviously there's some other things that go around it that aren't necessarily.
It's a robotic scorpion. What did you think was going to happen? What did you expect from a robotic scorpion?
Guess to get injected with oil.
Did you know that scorpion venom is the most valuable liquid on Earth?
I had no idea.
Yeah. So printer ink's up there. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
But if you go all the way to the top of this list, like just Google most expensive liquids. It's printer ink, human blood's on that list. Okay. But at the very top,
what is it used for?
It's that scorpion venom. It potentially could help arthritis. Potentially is the rheumatoid arthritis is the thought.
Cool.
Most expensive liquid. Dude, that's how we do this, dude. We become a millionaire. Like this is how we do it. We already got tweezers in a bucket in the garage, dude.
My sister lives in Arizona. Let's just go live in her spare bedroom.
Dude, we're there, man. We're already 2/3 of the way there for my $1 million plan.
Tweezers in a bucket in the garage.
What else do you need? All right, maybe some rubber gloves.
Oh shit. Oh, I'm okay. So do you have anything else on your deck? Or
I think that's it. I mean, I have other stuff, but it's more just like card draw stuff. Like, it's not super interesting. The Nev's disc with slow bad.
Oh, with slow bad, yeah.
Just have fun with that for a minute.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But I think what I was hoping for from Saheeli was Izzet replacement for Duretti. I'm not unhappy with how she is. I'm glad that they don't occupy the same space.
Yeah, she does something pretty cool.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the more I thought about it, I was like, man, this sucks that I can't just like upgrade Duretti. Like, what was
with an extra color?
He doesn't need upgrading. He doesn't need that.
Yeah, I mean, would you trade in your girlfriend? Do you need to upgrade your girlfriend?
Well, and then if I care about the whole design space of Commander.
Yeah, you don't want repetitions.
I don't want like power creep on commanders.
Right. You want you want a new frontier, dude.
Yeah.
New frontiers.
Yeah, I want different things. I want like, okay, he actually doesn't care about a lot of swarming the board would be harder to do with him And he wouldn't really care about it.
Yeah.
Cool, I'll weld you some, you've left me not a lot to weld into play because the deck is mostly like trying to get massive amounts of.
Yeah, you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah. He's just, I'm actually glad that they don't step on each other's toes enough.
Sure.
And I'm glad that he has the card draw and he's the red, well, not card draw and
in the red fashion, right?
And she's the one that doesn't.
Right.
But, you know.
Because she has blue and she's just going to go about it traditionally.
Yeah, you're just going to get it from the sources that are blue. But he doesn't need that, you know. I'm happy with it. Tawnos kind of gives me a headache thinking about what needs to happen with that deck, about how to get it to go. I'm sure there's...
Yeah.
You know, say Paradox Engine and you're already there. Like with him, he's kind of interesting to think about. Brutaclad is the one I really want to... I think he's my guy.
I'm amped to see Brutaclad at the table.
He's my guy.
It's gonna be gross. Plus, you need another Izek commander that's 6 converted mana cost, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not as color intensive.
True that. He's not color intensive. Niv Mizzet is a demanding master. He's a demanding master. Dude, if they kill him off.
Yeah, that'd be really weird in the story if they killed him off.
Yeah, I would cry.
Like Andy would, I would call your place of employment and be like, look, Andy needs bereavement. They killed this fucking dragon.
You're gonna call for me. You don't know me. You know,
Andy's not coming in for the next week.
Right. Like I'm friends with him, but I gotta tell you, like they killed his dragon. He's not coming in. Who is this? I said my name is Kyle. Anyway, Niv Mizzet's dead. I don't know how well you know Andy, but he's gonna need some time.
We're gonna be spending the next week or so grieving on Ravnica.
He's gonna need some time. Hey man, I've had weirder reasons for people calling in. People call in for me, or call in to work all the time for me, and they give me weird reasons. If somebody called in and said my favorite Magic card character died, I'd be like, take the time off, dude.
You need it.
You deserve
I'll do the paperwork.
You've been through a lot. I can't even imagine. So what's our plan? We got Yuriko coming up.
Yeah. So AP's going to come join us, right?
Or if he doesn't,
tentatively. We've done that tentative plan with him before, so. And you ended up just taking over, so that's all right. We hope he can join us, but we'll get some stuff going on in here. He can get some
going on. Yeah. And then we want to try to do Brutaclad. Are you going to handle any more of these?
I'm actually kind of interested in Yennet. It may be worthwhile to take a look at what we can do with Estrid.
We probably got to do that.
I think is another one that I think needs to be looked at.
Yeah, we really jumped the gun with our enchant themes and doing that.
So here's the thing to me thinking about it is that like we've covered enchants, and I don't really want to be too repetitious with our content, but we've talked about it. She has the potential to do some things that other enchantress decks cannot. And so we probably need to explore that a little bit more deeply and see exactly what that looks like. So yeah, like I said, I'm interested in Yennet. I think that one's kind of interesting. That'll probably be an expensive deck though.
And then it's return to Ravnica.
Fuck yeah.
All right. So yeah, what did we learn? We learned that these precons are, they're pretty worth it. You try to build a deck on your own for $40 and things get dark.
Things do get dark.
You start having to make some serious compromises with your body and your deck list. And then what else did we learn? The Planeswalker abilities, you kind of want to lean on some of them a little. That's kind of what my takeaway is just from mine and yours. I'm leaning on that middle ability. You're leaning on that
middle abilities for both of us, right?
A little bit.
I think they both, I don't know. I think Saheeli is much more rounded. I think Amina Tau's kind of like very niche, you know?
Yeah. But she can do more things than Saheeli can.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool, man.
Commander 2018. Which,
once this is out, people can get their hands on this shit.
Yeah, just go do it. All right. Just get the precon. God.
Remember the caveat: if you have most of the shit in the deck already, if you've already got it, you probably just order singles.
Sure.
Otherwise, buy it.
If you're starting from ground zero, I don't know. Try to focus the Saheeli list with the swarm thing is kind of what I'm thinking. If you got another idea, let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me know, and then do the blink thing. Do the blink thing with Amina Tau. Sick, dude. Sick.
Sick.